Look at this footage. This is the Iron Dome. It is arguably the greatest, most successfully tested air defense system in human history. It calculates the trajectory of an incoming rocket in milliseconds, launches a supersonic interceptor, and physically obliterates the threat in the sky before it can hit a city. It is a masterpiece of kinetic engineering. But there is a fatal, terrifying flaw hidden inside this masterpiece, and it has nothing to do with physics. It has to do with mathematics. The rockets fired by Hamas and Hezbollah are essentially flying steel pipes packed with fertilizer-based explosives. They cost roughly $500 to weld together in a basement. To shoot one down, Israel has to fire a Tamir interceptor missile. That missile is packed with advanced radar seekers, proximity fuses, and steering fins. It costs $50,000. If the enemy fires 1,000 cheap rockets, it costs them $500,000. It costs Israel $50 million to shoot them down. In modern warfare, you don't have to destroy a nation's military to defeat them. You just have to bankrupt their defense shield. And if you launch a massive swarm of cheap drones, eventually, the million-dollar shield will run out of expensive missiles. But what if the shield never ran out of ammo? What if you could shoot down a drone, a rocket, or a mortar shell, not for $50,000, but for the exact cost of running a diesel generator? $2. This is the story of Rafael's Iron Beam, the world's first fully operational, high-energy laser air defense system. It is a weapon that fires at 186,000 miles per second, costs almost nothing to shoot, and requires solving some of the most impossible optical engineering challenges ever attempted by mankind. The era of infinite ammo has arrived. Before we can understand how a laser weapon works, we have to understand exactly why Israel was so desperate to build one. The Iron Dome is a kinetic system. That means to destroy a physical object, you have to hit it with another physical object. A standard Iron Dome battery consists of a radar system, a battle management center, and 3 to 4 launchers. Each launcher holds 20 Tamir interceptor missiles. Let's do the tactical math. A full battery has roughly 60 to 80 shots before it is completely empty. In 2011, when the system was built, this was plenty. The enemy fired 2 or 3 rockets a day. But modern warfare has changed. Today, adversaries don't fire 3 rockets. They fire swarms. They launch 150 suicide drones and artillery rockets simultaneously. When a swarm hits, the Iron Dome fires its 80 missiles. But what happens to the 81st drone? The battery is empty. It has to be manually reloaded by a crane. That takes time. And in that window of time, the shield is down and the city is completely unprotected. The enemy's goal is to saturate the airspace, to force the Iron Dome to shoot until it clicks empty. Israel realized they were fighting a war of attrition they could not afford to win. They needed a weapon with infinite magazine depth, a weapon that does not rely on global supply chains, factory assembly lines, or cranes to reload. They needed a weapon made of light. But building a laser that looks cool in a laboratory is easy. Building a laser that can vaporize a supersonic steel mortar shell in a rainstorm is an engineering nightmare. For decades, the United States military tried to build laser weapons. In the 1990s and 2000s, they poured billions into chemical lasers. Chemical lasers generate intense heat by mixing highly toxic volatile chemicals. The problem? The machinery required to mix these chemicals was the size of a commercial airliner. It was incredibly dangerous, massively heavy, and completely impractical for a battlefield. To make the Iron Beam work, Israeli engineers at Rafael Advanced Defense Systems had to abandon chemicals completely. They turned to solid-state fiber lasers. In a fiber laser, the light is generated by laser diodes and then pumped into a specialized optical fiber doped with rare earth elements like erbium or ytterbium. This amplifies the light to a terrifying intensity. But a single fiber optic cable can't generate enough heat to melt a missile. The genius of the iron beam is beam combining. Engineers take dozens of individual 10-kilowatt fiber lasers and perfectly align their frequencies, merging them together into a single, perfectly coherent 100-kilowatt beam of pure thermal destruction. To put 100 kilowatts of focused light into perspective, it is hot enough to flash melt industrial steel in seconds. But now we hit the hardest physics problem of all, the atmosphere. A laser is light, and light interacts with the air it travels through. When you fire a 100-kilowatt laser, the beam is so hot that it instantly heats the air directly in front of the lens. Hot air expands. This creates a thermal lens effect called thermal blooming. The air itself bends, scatters, and defocuses the light before it can even hit the target. Add in dust, smoke, or humidity, and your weaponized sun suddenly becomes a harmless flashlight. To beat the atmosphere, Raphael had to engineer adaptive optics. Inside the iron beam turret is a deformable mirror. A secondary low-power laser fires at the target first to measure exactly how the air is distorting the light. A supercomputer calculates the distortion and physically alters the shape of the firing mirror thousands of times per second. It intentionally fires a distorted beam so that the atmosphere bends it back into a perfect, concentrated point of light right as it hits the target. But once you hit the target, you have to hold it there.
A laser weapon is not a kinetic explosion. It does not blow up when it gets close. A laser is a blowtorch. To destroy a target, the laser must heat the metal until it structurally fails, or the explosive warhead inside cooks off. This requires something called dwell time. Shooting down a commercial DJI drone that Hezbollah modified to carry a grenade is easy. The plastic casing melts almost instantly. But shooting down an artillery rocket or a mortar shell is a mechanical nightmare. A mortar shell is made of thick, heavy steel. It is traveling at supersonic speeds, and worst of all, it is spinning. When a target spins, the laser's heat gets distributed evenly across the surface of the metal, preventing it from melting a single hole. To destroy a spinning supersonic mortar, the iron beam's targeting gimbals cannot just track the object. They have to keep a coin-sized focal point of light locked onto the exact same millimeter of spinning steel for 2 to 3 unbroken seconds. If the turret vibrates from the wind, the beam slips. If the target jukes, the beam slips. The mechanical stabilization required to do this defies belief. The iron beam turret moves on frictionless magnetic bearings. The targeting computer runs advanced predictive algorithms, calculating the exact trajectory, wind speed, and rotation of the incoming threat, locking the optics onto a specific structural weak point of the rocket, usually the warhead casing or the aerodynamic fins. Once the beam holds for 3 seconds, the steel structurally fails. The aerodynamic pressure at supersonic speeds rips the rocket apart in mid-air. No explosion, no shrapnel flying randomly, just a catastrophic structural collapse caused by pure, focused heat. Despite all this sci-fi engineering, the iron beam was never designed to replace the Iron Dome. It was designed to complete it. Lasers have a massive weakness: weather. If there's heavy cloud cover, dense fog, or torrential rain, the water droplets in the air scatter the light. The 100-kilowatt laser loses its punch. Furthermore, the iron beam's effective range is roughly 7 to 10 kilometers, much shorter than the Iron Dome. This is where the overarching architecture of Israel's air defense becomes truly terrifying. When a swarm of 100 rockets is fired at a city, a centralized AI battle manager takes over. The radar maps every single target. The AI instantly calculates the weather, the cloud ceiling, and the exact distance of the threats. If the rocket is high above the clouds or miles away,
the AI fires a $50,000 Tamir missile to intercept it kinetically. But if the AI detects a cheap suicide drone flying low and clear under the cloud deck, it tells the Iron Dome to hold its fire. Instead, it hands the target coordinates to the Iron Beam. A $2 pulse of electricity is fired. The drone melts. By pairing the two systems together, Israel preserves their million-dollar missile stockpile for the heavy threats, while using virtually free light to incinerate the cheap drone swarms. Warfare has always been an equation of logistics. How many bullets do you have? How fast can you reload? How much money can you spend before your economy breaks? The Iron Beam shatters that equation. It does not need global supply chains for microchips or rocket fuel. It doesn't need cranes to reload its magazines. As long as you have a tank of diesel fuel to run the generator, you have a force field. The rules of attrition warfare have permanently changed. The era of the $500 drone swarm is meeting the era of the $2 weaponized sun. Here is my question for you. Does the invention of the Iron Beam mean the era of the missile is officially over? Or will enemies just figure out how to put reflective mirror coatings on their rockets to bounce the laser away? Drop your tactical theories in the comments below. And if you want to know how Israel hacked a 3-foot pipe onto the back of a jet to beat Soviet missiles, click this video right here. Hit subscribe, we're just getting started.